I'm Melita Easters, the Executive Director and Founding Chair of Georgia Windlist. Our Board of Directors is delighted to announce our endorsement of Nicole Horn for her 2022 Campaign for Georgia Labor Commissioner. As all of us recover from the workplace and economic uncertainty caused by the continuing COVID pandemic, Nicole brings 2 decades of experience working to train and retrain people who are advancing in or changing careers to her campaign. Nicole, please tell us what prompts you to seek this office as a political newcomer and the skill sets you bring which are specific to the duties of this office.
I'm happy to do so. Thanks so much, Melita. I like to talk about my experience growing up because it's really relevant in this situation. So I'm the daughter of a nurse and a lifetime union member. My dad, Ed, was a heavy equipment operator. So that's a fancy way of saying he built roads for a living. We grew up in Connecticut, and this is relevant because every year, usually just before Christmas, my dad was laid off from his job. And that's because you can't build roads when it's cold and when it's wet outside. Now, despite how this may sound, it was never scary for us. My dad applied for unemployment and he quickly received it. And he was back at work building roads. That's not what Georgians experienced. When the pandemic hit almost 2 years ago, and more than 2 million Georgians applied for unemployment, what they have experienced is kind of terrifying. I mean, people applied for unemployment so that they can make sure their rent was paid and there was food on the table for their families. They waited months and continue to wait months to receive those benefits that they've earned. Our unemployment system is broken under the current labor commissioner, who's a Republican. His name is Mark Butler. It's broken. And my background is one where I've worked in large organizations, universities, and helped to streamline processes and simplify things and introduce new technology. I've helped universities across the country pick programs that would lead to jobs for adult students. I have a vision to fix unemployment. We need to make sure that our safety net works, and I'm ready to do that.
Wonderful. Well, tell us a little bit more about the responsibilities of Georgia's Labor Commissioner, please.
Georgia's Labor Commissioner, the commission used to be a larger department with more responsibilities. Our current Labor Commissioner has really narrowed the focus. The focus now is primarily, like 90% of the job is paying unemployment benefits and running career centers that help people both answer unemployment questions and find new jobs. There are 46 career centers across the state of Georgia. Keep in mind that when the pandemic hit, the current labor commissioner closed all of those career centers, and they still are not all open. They've just recently started to open them in the last month, which is ridiculous. The Department of Labor is also in charge of tracking labor data. So what industries are growing, shrinking, what occupations are growing and shrinking. But what most Georgians depend on for the Department of Labor is unemployment benefits.
Thank you. Now, over your career, you've held a variety of jobs, from Waffle House waitressing and selling knives door to door to television reporting and owning your own business. So tell us a little bit more about yourself and your family background.
I like to talk about this because I mean, my parents expected me to work. It started when I was 12, when I was babysitting. And my first job, Melita, as you said, was working at Waffle House. It's the Waffle House off 575, the Woodstock Town Lake exit. And that was my first job. And after college, I waited tables for a short time after college. And I've been through the experience of living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, I've lived on $12,000, on $18,000 and $20,000. And you really come to understand how narrow the margins are, how you have to have a budget and every penny is accounted for. The flip side, for the past 15 years, I've run a company, and helped ensure other people had really good jobs with benefits and a living wage. And I've built budgets around that and had the experience of setting a strategy. And as I've said before, helping universities to grow, helping them to streamline processes. And I think kind of knowing both bookends, knowing both how to count every penny and knowing where every dime is going, to building a bigger budget and setting a more holistic strategy. Both that understanding and that vision sets me apart as a great candidate.
You face several challengers in the Democratic primary, so tell us why you're better qualified.
I appreciate you asking this question. I have right now 2 state legislators who are running for this position, and they are great men with good hearts, good Democrats, but they're not qualified for this position. One's a dentist and one's a personal injury attorney. They don't have the skills required to go in and shake up, streamline, improve an administration in a department as large as this one. I have worked with large departments before. I have set strategy and helped universities select programs that would lead to jobs. So I built those bridges to careers before. And I want to take that mindset of not only how do we fix our unemployment system, which is broken and needs better processes and practices, but how do we address underemployment? How do we get more better jobs for Georgians? And the way I want to do that is through apprenticeship programs. And that kind of background of creating programs that lead to jobs, creating programs for adults who are ready to transition or be promoted, I have experience in. So I'm the best qualified candidate for this position. I'm the right person at the right time.
Could you also share a bit more about your vision for the Department of Labor?
Yeah. I said earlier the current Department of Labor is pretty narrow, but really the Department of Labor should be focused on 3 things. The first is those unemployment benefits. We need to make sure the safety net works for Georgians. The second is, as I've said before, we need more better jobs in Georgia. We don't have a state-run apprenticeship program, and I plan to launch one. I'll also be working shoulder to shoulder with unions on their existing apprenticeship programs, so we can get both more skilled labor and more people into better office jobs. The third thing DOL should be doing is being an advocate for Georgia workers. And by this, I mean, if you are facing discrimination, the Department of Labor needs to be where you go. If you are working in an unsafe work environment, I mean, we saw this in the Gainesville poultry plant where people died as a result of being in an unsafe environment. You should have a place that you could call. The Department of Labor should be there to make sure that everyone is playing by the rules. And Georgia's been known for being the best place to own a business in the country. I want to see us become the best place to work in the country. And the way you do that is by finding a place that will be an advocate for Georgia workers.
What do you see the Democratic ticket offering to Georgia voters in 2022, which they have not seen during the recent 2 decades when Republicans have held a trifecta of state government control?
I think the best thing that Georgians can expect from Democrats in leadership positions is a vision for a government that is there to help strengthen community. It is there to help figure out how we can come together and be a better, stronger state and really lift all of the boats. Under Republican control, it's very much you're in it for yourself and you have to watch out for yourself. We turned down federal money. We've done this both to help strengthen healthcare and insurance. We've done this at the Labor Department. We turned away money to help strengthen technology and get better technology implemented. There is a sense of no, you just got to go on your own in Republican leadership, where Democrats lead with how can we strengthen our entire community? How can we get together and build better schools, build better roads, build better systems so that we can all be more successful and more prosperous in our state?
Thank you so much. Let's now have you share how those who are interested in your campaign can support your efforts and get involved.
Oh, that would be great. Well, I hope you'll go to my website. It's Nicole Horn for Georgia, all spelled out. And that tells a little bit more about my platform and why I'm running. Right now, I'm really focused on two things: meeting people and raising money. It's kind of the dirty part about politics. You have to raise money to get the word out there. So if you would help me raise money and meet more people by hosting a fundraiser or connecting me with other groups that you think I should speak to. And I can not only speak about my platform, I'm also out there speaking about what's happening in our workforce right now, talking about the Great Resignation and talking about opportunities that we've got. But that opportunity to get out there and talk is a fantastic one. You can also follow me on Facebook, and it's Nicole Horn for Georgia, both on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. And it's Nicole Horn, the number 4 GA on Twitter and Instagram. So I hope you'll stay connected and become involved. We're building a volunteer base. So that is the other thing. If you'd like to get involved as a volunteer, there's a place on my website where you can sign up to do so. So thank you so much for your support. I look forward to continuing to turn Georgia even bluer.
Thank you so much. And on behalf of the entire Windlass community, we wish you well in your campaign, Nicole. Thanks for
Thank
your
you.
time.